What's up, boys and girls? Welcome back to PotcastsRUhl. What's going on, Johnny?
Just glad to be here as usual at the Golden Touch Studios.
Joel, how are you?
Good, man. I don't have a microphone. You can probably hear me kind of.
You're good, brother. You're good. Thank
Yeah.
you for being here and doing what you do. So much to talk about. We got a special guest tonight.
Yeah,
We'll get him on in about 10 minutes.
the great Ription,
Yeah, he'll be out of this world.
so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You think you knew something about the cosmos?
A little bit.
You don't know. You know what about the cosmos? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing
Yeah.
well. You know, it's
You
been
look good.
It's been.
You're
thank
colorful today.
You. Yeah.
You're all red and black, kind of the San
Yeah,
Diego
it's-
state colors. And
Got was up in the Bay Area, and the guys at Connected. Shout out to Connected. Turned me on to a new hoodie. This is also a cap from a dispensary down in Vista, off the charts. Shout out to the boys at Off the Charts.
how is the weed business up in San Francisco? I mean, the Bay Area, is it just as crazy as it is down here? And
Well,
many people and
the Bay Area is the Bay Area. I love the Bay Area. I've really fallen in love the last year going there so many times.
yeah.
And all, you know, from Eureka to San Diego, you know what I mean? I'm everywhere there. But yeah, you know, the weed business is the weed business. It's still hanging in there.
Yeah.
We did get a couple wins. Maryland is now recreational. I believe it was Missouri.
Yeah, that was one of them.
There's one more, but the
And
Dakotas
couple-
didn't get it.
Oh, they didn't. It didn't
They
pass.
did not of the five.
Yeah.
But you know, at least like as Big Steve would say, you know, we're chipping at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's important. Two big holidays coming up. So Green Wednesday, the night before Thanksgiving, is one of the hugest holidays because everybody's in town,
Yeah.
family, and there's a lot of weed purchases. So
Yeah.
we've been really busy. At work with deliveries and sales and packaging and stuff like that. And then the second, you know, to 420, these are the biggest holidays: Black Friday, Green Wednesday, 420, and then probably New Year's Eve. But you know, weed's weed, and it's still
Yeah.
there. And
Omnipresent.
yeah, we were prior to the show. I was doing a little show and tell with some Keith here with Johnny and the wafter behind the controls. But Keith is very strong. 'Cause I had one puff and I'm already like trying to get my words together. But anyway,
Yeah, that stuff is like I said, it smelled like I could probably clean the kitchen sink and take some rust off of something. That's some strong. That's odoriferous, baby.
it's good stuff. Keef is what falls off of the flour when it's being trimmed and it's caught in a container, and we keep it around. And it's,
So no waste at all.
yeah, no waste
It's like
at all.
like certain cultures when they kill a boar or a pig, it's everything. They eat everything is being consumed. So kind of the same thing with the plant, the herb.
We don't. There's very little waste. Very
Yeah.
little waste.
Well, because there's no money to waste. It's a rough business, right? I mean,
But
it's a good business, but it's a rough sport, right?
It is a rough sport. It's not for everyone. You could, you know, there's cash, there's weed, there's, you know, anytime you're susceptible to, you know, to nefarious wolves on the street. If, you know, delivery guy, I mean, we've talked about it. Just, I mean, which will segment me into something really quick here about the crime. You know, crime hit home for me. Friday night, my son was out walking the dogs in our local neighborhood, and literally was assaulted by someone, and they pulled a knife on him. You know, and then of course, you know, I obviously went over and found where the guy lived and had some words with him briefly, but didn't want to do what, you know, I initially set out to do. And then I called the Orange County Sheriff. Shout out to those cats. Total cool, you know, total cool guys. Interviewed Parker, interviewed me, and basically said that they were going to get down and talk to him. And you know, they don't take that kind of stuff lightly, but basically the guy got a ticket.
Yeah.
The guy got a ticket. Yeah. So
That's what pulling a knife on someone these days gets you.
punching someone in the face
Yeah.
for no reason. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The kid was walking dogs across the street, literally like turned his phone on to make sure he picked up all the dog shit. You know what I mean? Before carrying on, being
Trying to be a citizen.
Joe said, Joe,
Yeah.
exactly.
Trying to be a good citizen.
Yeah.
And a sound, we don't need to say where you live, but you live in one of the better places in, or probably in the country that you'd want to live. safe and sane and beautiful. And
Well,
sure enough,
as it turns out, the guy, when I did confront him, he was like, "Yeah, you want some too?" And I was like, "No, bro." But as shout out to Timmy, he's like, "No, bro, but now I know where you live." And I left. Like I said, then I called the sheriff. And anyway, a couple hours later, the guy got a ticket. But now, you know what I mean? I have to worry about my son walking the dog in the neighborhood, you know what I mean? Which is not something that should happen. So
as does all the other people, as do all the other people in the neighborhood.
Yes, absolutely. Because the guy is a menace. I realized when I was talking to Kyle, shout out to Kyle Nelson Construction. You need something done, look him up. This guy was in the liquor store like 10 days, 2 weeks ago. I'm talking to the liquor store guy, that's my boy, and Mr. Kim, who's working the register. Yeah. And this guy starts with Mr. Kim about nothing and goes into like he's some tough guy over like 35 cents that Mr. Kim said, don't worry about the 35 cents. Like, you're good. Like, pay your $15 and go. But anyway, long story short is crime is a problem, and you don't know, just watch yourself. You don't know what's going to happen at any time. I mean, my son's 6'3". You know what I mean? It shook him up, and it shook me up, and it's still shaking me up, and I still have to worry about it. So just, look up the word retribution. Retribution.
And that discussion a few minutes ago.
This kid that you assaulted, he's somebody. All right?
Yeah.
So do yourself a favor. Watch your back. Use your head. I could have gone down there and shot the place up or got out with a baseball bat and assaulted him and the other guy, whoever was there. Yeah, but that doesn't get me anywhere and cause a lot of other problems. I called the sheriff, which is what you're supposed to do, right? And the sheriff talked to me and Parker, and another sheriff was there. And he basically, he said, we'll do what we can, but we might not be able to do anything.
Well, this guy's definitely a dickweed. I mean, he said, "Do you want some?" Who says alcohol. That? Who says that anymore?
Yeah.
It's like, chill out. Yeah. But he's emboldened because what's going to happen? You got a ticket. Hopefully, it'll shake him up a little bit and a little slap in the face. Right. But so many people, it doesn't slap him in the face. They take that ticket and do what with it.
Yeah. Well, had he stabbed my son, it'd been a different story,
yeah,
right?
Of course.
You know what I mean? What's up there? You know what I mean? So again, they were very polite and very understanding and very concerned. But the one cop just, with his hands in his vest, he looked at me and said, "There's only so much we can do because of the law." Because of the law.
And that's all over the country.
So,
that's all over the country.
All we do now is use laws against good, hardworking, honest people.
Well, we were just talking about Chicago and Illinois, first of the year. That if someone trespasses on your property, they can get a ticket. That's all the police can do. They can't arrest them. So they can squat on your, in your backyard next to the pool and the barbecue, and it's too bad for you. They're going to get a ticket. There's nothing you can do. So
right, and as soon as you, as the owner of the property or the person that resides at the property, does something, you've affected their rights.
Yeah, and so
where the fuck are my rights?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Again, they sue you and end up owning the house.
Look up retribution. Anyway, enough about that before I get angry. Where do you want to roll to next? We got a special guest coming on.
Yeah, as soon as he shows up, as soon as Rip shows up, we'll bring him on. He's
Rip's here.
Rip's here. Yeah, let's bring him on.
Bring him up. There he is.
Hey, what's up, guys?
You sitting by the campfire? It's kind of
like the celebration. My kid won the World Series of Baseball today, so they're celebrating. So I had to sneak away and find a quiet spot.
Wait a second. He was in Williamsport, Pennsylvania?
Well, no. The
Pacoima,
Orange County. Yeah, they beat the Tustin Braves.
So wait a second.
Wait.
So he's
I thought he was a tennis star.
Well, he won the Orange County thing for that, and you have two sons, right?
My younger son, the one that's sitting.
Yeah, and your older son.
Yeah, he's the tennis guy.
Is the toast of the Orange County tennis world.
Yeah, man, he is. But Lucas, so this is Lucas's baseball team was undefeated for this season, and this is the third year he's played, and he's been on the winning team every year. So he's making his own legacy in baseball.
So did they get that from you or from your wife?
No, from the wife for sure. I'm a wuss when it comes.
Because I've seen you bounce around the mow up and off the stage, and it's probably your wife.
And for those of you who don't know, the mighty Rip is our dear brother and dear friend and musician bro, but he's also the founder of the Mighty Mo, Blasmo,
Club Mo.
Club Mo.
Club Mo.
Tell us about Club Mo. How'd you start Club Mo?
Club Mo. Well, you know, I had a studio in Orange by the Honda Center for about 10 years, and it was pretty much the same thing. Except it was, I had 8 lockout studios that I leased out to bands, which covered the main room instead of, you know, having membership type thing. But it was the same idea, having a place where musicians can come and, you know, be with their peers and have a network, you know, to, you know, discuss trends in the industry and whatnot. So it was just pretty much, we had a great flood. It was on the back of a wash, and it flooded when the rains came one year, and the whole block just flooded. And I'm like, well, you know, musical instruments and water don't mix. So I moved out and started looking for another place, and eventually ended up at the Mo. After
Yeah, that place is something else. It has it's an Ultraman cave. There's a pool table. There's a stage with back line, meaning instruments for everybody to play. There's a bar, a great studio setup, and I hadn't been in any place like that, and I've been playing for a long time.
Yeah.
It's got a great vibe.
Great vibe. We don't have a picture of it. I should have brought one up, but
we specialize.
yeah, it's fantastic vibe.
Topless waitresses and free steak and lobster dinners, and false advertising is one of our big things.
Pony rides,
Yeah,
free
yeah.
washers and dryers, all that good
Fog
stuff.
machine too.
I hate
That's
that.
what I
hate
like.
that fucking thing. As a singer, it's like the worst thing for your throat. You know?
Yeah. You're on stage and they do those things. You roll your eyes. Come on, man.
Actually, this show actually used to be recorded at the Mo.
Yeah,
There was we started at the Mo.
On my earlier shows.
Yeah.
Our first shows were over at another place, but yeah.
Oh yeah, we were
It's-
what's
Yeah.
Glenn's place? What
Glenn's
was
place. I don't know.
Did it have a name? I can't
I
remember.
don't remember. I don't even remember where it is. You know.
Anyway, we wanted to just see what's been up with you. What's going on? Like, I mean, I want to know about the what is it? Super Collider?
Yeah. Well, the reason we have you on here is because just fascinated with what you do. For people who don't know, Rip is not only an entrepreneur and a helper of musicians, but he's a world-class brain, basically is what it is. And when it comes to the cosmos, he knows as much as just about anybody. And you go 2-3 times a year. They fly you back to Cern, in Switzerland, where the Super Collider is.
Switzerland, and it's mostly in France, but yeah, Switzerland and France.
Yeah, and you consult with them. So why don't you tell us a little bit about about that setup and a little bit about why you're there, and then the theories you came up with.
It's an interesting story. So back when the internet first came online, I used to go to Usenet news groups, which was the social media of the day, and used to do battle with physicists from all around the world. And back when they first had funding for the collider and it was going to be built, I predicted that it would prove the existence of a particle, the Higgs boson particle, which blew everyone away because I basically was anonymous. And when they asked who I was, I'd say, I'm just a high school dropout interested in the subject. And when I told them why, I took a lot of ridicule. But once they started, and you guys,
I don't mean to interrupt, but why?
Yeah, you guys know why, right? I mean, we went into that. So
no.
Experience I had in Balboa, watching this big thing float over.
Right. That we talked about on that last show with you and Gary. Yeah,
that turned my life upside down. So and this is way before the internet. So I spent, hours on end in the library just reading everything I could get my hands on, to try and explain what the hell this thing was and what it was doing here and blah blah blah. And so years later, I came up with a theory that explained the singularity to the Big Bang, which Stephen Hawking proved it started from something and expanded and is still expanding, but they couldn't figure out the singularity. And I came up with a theory that back then took a lot of ridicule and now is in the forefront of probably being correct. And along with that comes the bonus plan of the multiverse theory, which is just a mind-blowing concept, but one theory doesn't work without the other. So when I predict,
what's the multiverse theory?
Gosh. So So when I predicted the Higgs boson back in early 2000, and the collider came online in 2008, and then 2012 it confirmed what I predicted. That's kind of what put me on the map, by a guy named Bernie Carr, who was a disciple of Stephen Hawking, who got a hold of it. And he put me in touch, or he shared my theories with a gentleman named Mike Lamont, who's the director of particle acceleration at Cern. So that's kind of how I got in. But basically, the singularity to the Big Bang, I showed that it was basically just a baby bang from another dimension, that when subparticles are subject to a energy collision on a scale we can't even fathom, like two galaxy clusters colliding, the subparticles get displaced and they cling on instantaneously to other subparticles and start a whole new dimension from that point on. And this goes on and on and on. So this creates multiverses, basically. And where I lose people is the ramifications of what that means. But that's the tough part. Does that
The
make sense?
ramifications. Well, yeah, it does a little bit.
You guys want to hear where I lose?
Well, I mean, when you say particle, like something explodes or separates, and then it jumps on to something else and latches onto them, like, or that, or it, or whatever that is, right? And then it keeps jumping from something to something,
and then it turns
creating something,
creates another dimension.
It creates another dimension that explodes in parallel from the one it just came from, and it can have a completely different set of laws of physics. And when we're talking like galaxy clusters colliding, it's on a scale of, they use Hiroshima. Oh, it's on the scale of like 2 Hiroshima bombs. Well, this is on a scale of Hiroshima with a Google of Hiroshima bombs, which is a one zeros behind it. I mean, we can't even fathom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And we know this happens. We observe it happening, and this creates other dimensions. I was absolutely sure of it. And it actually got Hawking's attention. I was supposed to have a meeting with him, but this is in 2017, and his health started failing. But his disciple, Bernie Carr, took it and ran with it. So that's kind of how I got on the map with CERN. And he got me in touch with Mike Lamont, who's a director there. So that's basically how it came about.
So what does this have going forward? What do these discoveries? What do they mean? Are we still going to be, like I said, I like ice cream, and I'm still that's going to be that's going to be where my world is.
So I was back in the day, I was laughed at for just the idea. Now it's on the forefront of I'm probably right, but the ramifications is where I lose most people is I don't even know if I should tell you, but
come on,
you and I and all of us, where in another dimension where every single criteria of your life is played out in a different scenario. In other words, there's a version where you exist where Elvis is doing shows in Vegas with Jimi Hendrix. They're both still alive. JFK didn't get shot and is married to Marilyn Monroe. There's a version where you die at birth and where you live to 100, and it goes on and on and on. And that's where I lose most people, because that's basically what multiverse means if it's infinite. And this keeps happening over and over again when we can observe these clusters colliding. It's the only thing that makes sense, because obviously something can't come from nothing, and that was the big mystery of the Big Bang, is where did it come from? And that's exactly where it came from, and I was so sure of it. And that's kind of how I got on the map. And so they've been trying to woo me to come over there to do observations and blah blah blah, and I'm not interested in that. The only person I was ever trying to convince of anything was me, because of what I saw and what I was trying to figure out what it was all about. So
don't go.
But I wasn't going to pass up the first time to have a tour of this thing, because it's just
Well, listen, can you tell me what my life is like in another dimension? I mean, JFK got Marilyn Monroe. Who the fuck did I get?
And that's the freaky part of it. That's the freaky part. That's where you lose most people. But that's
because they think you're nuts. They're like, "Oh, you're fucking stupid." Like that's where they just can't.
Well, it's like trying to think about infinity. I've got about 45 seconds of that.
Doesn't Toyota make? Oh no, that's not Toyota.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. I got 45 seconds of trying to contemplate in infinity, and then it's done. I start to shake, and I have to, go back to watching the USC game.
Most physicists now think that's I was exactly spot on, and this is all stuff I postulated back in 2005. I mean, a long time ago. So it's just now coming to well, this guy might be right. And I'm basically a nobody. I'm a self-taught hack, high school dropout.
I think you're a great bass player and a very funny, sexy guy. And I'm really impressed now.
I had a need to know. I mean, I didn't have to worry about funding. I was self-funded, and most scientists they're a slave to funding, so they have to skew their results and they get censored. And I had the freedom to be able to do that on my own, which which kept an open mind for me. So
so let's going forward, and probably we may not even be here when this happens, but will people be able to access those other dimensions and their other selves, you know?
How the fuck am I? Do I have more money then? Is my schwanzuli like 3 times the size of it, or am I exactly the same person?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
not laughing at you. I'm being sincere.
Our universe is
Schwanzoli? Okay.
Highly intelligent life, and we're very primitive. I mean, we're monkeys compared to them. And I think that what I saw, they're capable of warping time and space, the fabric of time and space, and being able to create wormholes through this so-called theorized tachyon particles, which go faster than light, and they can go from one end of the universe to the other in an instant. And we know theoretically that can happen, but proving it is a different story. But the world of these particles are freaky things, man, because you can have this one particle communicating instantaneously, and they can be on both different sides of the universe. So it's Einstein called it spooky. It's just a mind-blowing concept, but it's absolutely true. And so I think that, yes, advanced civilizations can. I think you can go back in time and observe our history from another dimension, but you cannot interchange with it. Now, going forward, that's a different story. But that's
it's kind of, I know in a lot of Hollywood stuff, over the years, they said, like, yeah, you could go back in time, but if you tried to interfere with the timeline, you would really fuck things all up, right?
Paradox. Yeah. No, you can go back and observe, but you cannot interchange. And that observation has to be from another dimension. So
yeah.
So
no.
It's freaky stuff.
Dimension.
Still on our we're still figuring stuff out. So
no, I think it's I think it's very, very fascinating to me.
It is, because the universe, the scale of the universe is just mind blowing, and the scale of the particles that make us exist is mind-blowing. I mean, like neutrino particles, there's 300 trillion neutrino particles that shoot through your body every second. These things are freaky things, and they pretty much command our whole existence. So it's a fascinating concept between the very big and the very small.
Is that like electrical type of a thing that's flowing through your body? These particles?
I guess you could say that. Yeah.
I mean, that's
And the Higgs the particle that I predicted would be proven, is also called the God particle by some. And it's basically the particle that gives all other particles their mass. And for that my theories would have, fallen into the abyss of obscurity had that not been proven, because it's a fundamental part of my theory, is that particular particle existing for my theories to work. So that's why
when we were talking about, this stuff is so heavy. I go to I like ice cream.
He's on his second cone.
We just got a comment while you're going through all this. We got a comment from a friend of mine up north, Guy Walters. He said, "Go USC." So so that's where we are. That's where most of us are. I'm just trying to think. Well, you're talking about that, and I'm going. They said they were going to run out of turkeys. I better get over there and get one at Stater Brothers right now.
It's a lot. There's so much there. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's not something that's discussed with people on a daily basis, and that everyone can completely comprehend and understand or buy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's probably
Rip's on a different level for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm not really. It doesn't make me any more or less intelligent than anyone else. I'm just well read on the subject, because I had a really driving need to know what it was I witnessed back when I was 18 years old. And so I really had the need to know. So I'm just well read on the subject. That's all.
Yeah, but you had the capacity to be really well read and to, follow through with it.
Yeah.
I have a capacity to be really well read with headlines, and that's that's as far as I get. And most people, damn.
Well, I figured out, early on that the only thing that would ever explain what it is I saw was quantum astrophysics and quantum mechanics. So that's why I got so heavily into it, because
You wanted it. You were looking for an answer. Your brain
was-
said, "Why did that happen?"
you know what I found I discovered the the missing link. I found all the answers I was ever looking for, and I was never trying to prove anything to anybody except myself. But I just kind of fell into it because I put my theories out there, and they started gaining more credence as more physicists started reading them, going, "Wow, there's something to this." So
I think it's amazing. It's
yeah.
amazing.
And from that to having a Neil Diamond tribute act, right?
thanks for sharing that.
You got any gigs coming up? Can we get a shameless plug out of you for a show somewhere?
The only reason I know all of Neil Diamond's nuances is because I had to listen to him every freaking day from my oldest.
He's
Oh my God.
hardwired.
over
He's
and over,
hardwired.
and over, and so I have them ingrained into my DNA, basically. So
Yeah.
but
We love you.
so,
I just think it's wonderful. All the things you do for people. You know what I mean? Like you have such a big heart, and putting the Mo together. And even when we were over at when I met you over at the studio in Laguna,
yeah,
at Empower Logic Studios there with your our old friend, friend. It's just, you're just a great guy, man. I love when you're around. I love that you came to see me when I played in Laguna the other night with the Jam Band All Stars. It was just really cool to see your face, and I posted a picture right before the show because I took a couple. You're just amazing.
Well, the other thing, since while we're blowing smoke up Rip's ass,
we're talking shit here.
blowing smoke up his butt. People ask when I mention you or something, you come up in conversation. I said, well, Rip is that guy that's full of kinetic energy and is here and he's there and he's there and never. But he gets it done, because we all know people that are just bouncing around and, I've got this idea and they're snapping their fingers going in there and nothing ever gets done. But that's you, but you get shit done.
Well,
and it's it's amazing.
It really is not me. It's a bunch of people that came together that believed in the concept, that helped supported the idea. So it's not me. It's a bunch of us that came together and thought this is a good thing and we're going to help support it. Because I started it right when COVID hit. The best part of social when there was a pandemic. And
I know. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I know that the Blasmo elders are they're a big part of what goes on there. But I just feel like you're the driving force.
Without them, it wouldn't exist. So that's
shout out to them and all the other folks and members there. Like we always love to stop in there. We did a show with my mom and my sister.
Yeah. I'm going to be there for a rehearsal next Sunday, I think it is, or something. So we're always going into the Mo. Yeah.
Yeah, the big man cave.
But I'm from your gig last week. I have some really cool footage of you. So
it was very, very kind of you. Like I said, it was so great to see you. You go to my
and
my
thanks for
Facebook
coming
page.
on and shedding a little bit of light as much as you could on what's going on over there, because that's, I mean, there's something when you got the grandkid on your knee. Well, back in 2022, I was, that's
a lot of what I
there's a lot to listen. What I don't know what they refer to aliens, whatever other life forms, whatever it is. There's so much there. There's so much shit's trickling out. You know what I mean? I question the way that technology took that huge leap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, microwaves and cell phone. How basically this show right now is being sent everywhere in little pieces, right?
Around the world.
All over the fucking world. Not from tower to tower.
Yeah.
There's no wire.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How can you take a picture of someone and send it to Dubai?
Yeah.
In seconds. I mean, that's the kind of, I don't get it.
So my Church of Critical Thinking, my very popular website,
my favorite word.
The government wouldn't give me tax exempt status because I had Tesla and Einstein as my deities. I thought, well, that's not fair, but that's why they didn't grant me a tax exempt. But Tesla is, he was the man. I mean, he had this stuff all figured out before anyone even had a clue of, so he's, anything you can ever read on Tesla is well worth it, because he really had a mind that was just outer worldly, in my opinion. So he's one of my deities.
Yeah. Well, you're one of ours. It's where you're going to end up. You're going to end up as one of those when all this stuff gets put into practice. And
right.
You know, in fact, that's kind of what the VR world is with you know those glasses, you know, the VR thing
Oh.
you put on. Only you'll be actually there, right?
Gene Roddenberry was not a science fiction writer. He was a visionary. I mean, look at everything that's come to fruition so far. But I just wanted to give a shout out real quick to the Wizard of Mo, who I know is back there. He's my man. I'm so proud of him.
Put yourself up there, Joel. There he is.
There's the wizard. He is the man.
Brother from another man. How you doing, kid? So yeah, he's an amazing spirit, that kid. So you guys, that's one of the good things that came out of the Mo is you guys got hooked up with him. So there you go.
Thanks to you.
Point,
Yeah.
that's the point of the Mo is networking. So there you have it.
Joel's been with us for a while, and we're better for it. That's for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
In fact, that's the only reason we're here, being able to talk to you.
Because we couldn't figure this fucking shit out.
So yeah, you can say Mo is responsible for your show during Joel, and that's the reason the Mo exists and stuff like that. So I'm glad it worked.
Now he knows what power he has, and we'll see how he reacts. To
we love you. We wish you and your family a very happy and safe Thanksgiving. And shout out to your boys, you know what I mean, and their parents for, you know, for raising them right and showing them a good life and all their success.
All right. Well, I look forward to our next face-to-face, guys, and have a great show. And always a pleasure talking to you. So.
Much love, Rip. Kid. Thank you.
Out of trouble, Joel. Love you, bro.
We'll do our best.
Catch you on the flip.
Yes,
he is the best. He is the best.
Stay out of trouble. Too late.
Yeah. If you can't be good, don't get caught.
Yeah. Yeah, Rip is something else, man. He did the best he could, and I hope it cleared things up a little bit. But that other dimension stuff is
yeah. I mean, I thought LSD was something.
Yeah.
Maybe I should cut back on the mushrooms
or take more.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Couple things we were talking about earlier. I don't know. Let's see, what was it? Retribution. No. Speaking of retribution, would you say something about Epstein or?
Yeah, the list came out, and a bunch of people were on it. I don't have my notes in front of me, but there's a heavy CEO that's right in there. And what happened was a judge said, no, you can't hide the list.
Yeah, well, good.
So we'll see what happens with Prince Philip and Prince Bill, and both Gates and Clinton.
I still am in awe of the fact that Gates said nothing during there was no talk about you should take the whatever for the whatever, you know what I mean? Like
Gates, yeah,
it was just stupid. And then we talked about briefly about these poor kids in Idaho. That's a horrible scene, and it stinks bad.
Well, set that up just a little bit, because
I'm sure most people know there was 4 college students killed in Idaho brutally with a very large. They refer to it like a Rambo knife or like a K-bar. I think it was specifically a K-bar. K-bar is a combat knife issued to Marines. I think started probably in World War II, all the way through Vietnam. Then they changed to a Camellias, which was a very similar knife. But in any event, they don't know what's going on. There was some people living upstairs that were there. There's CCTV footage of them at a food truck at like 1:30 a.m. And then, I don't know, like 9 hours after the crime, a 911 call. They were saying, well, does this little town of Idaho have the police? And, so they invited the FBI, the state police. I don't know. It's just sad. It's really, really strange how, were they targeted? Was it, some weirdo?
It was
or did somebody do something bad and this was retribution? I mean, you don't know.
Yeah.
It's just fucking sad. These beautiful children, taken away again. Crime. Fucking stupid.
Oh, we'd be remiss if we didn't say happy birthday to Joe, President Biden.
Okay, well, happy birthday.
You have that, Joel.
Happy birthday, kid.
Yeah, he's 80 years old. There he is. Happy as can be.
Yeah.
He
looks... grumpy pants. Hey? Did you shit yourself?
Yeah, he's that guy. Who's the guy who has the grumpy old man that does the puppeteer? And Jeff.
Yeah,
that's him. That's him. That's him.
Perfectly.
Maybe
a little more rosy on the cheeks. Yeah, I feel you.
I mean, I think we've just drained everything we can out of that. Talking about the guy, he's such a disaster.
Democrats, Republicans, it don't matter. the government and all this stuff is just out of control.
Yeah.
Out of control.
Well, it's all self-serving.
Greed and self-preservation.
Yeah, that's really get in, get
At the
rich.
expense of the American people.
Get in, get rich, get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Who's
We
the-
we talked a little bit about the election, and you know, the GOP
Election month, election week. What was
election
it?
year, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the only thing we came away with was that if the GOP wants to win any more elections, they've just got to go whole hog like the Democrats. I mean, they've got to promote early voting so nobody really knows who the candidates are. They've got to go out there and do the ballot harvesting. They got to dump the ballots off in the middle of the night, like happened in all these states, and they're going to have to, this going to the
if this
polls,
is the game, then they need to play the game.
If you
I
want
would
to play
agree.
the game, yeah, I mean,
but my opinion is, not that I don't agree with you 100%, is that it's democracy's not here anymore. It's gone. The Constitution, it's over. It's over. It's just like, it's going to go.
Yeah.
It's like that race to the bottom when you're a salesperson.
Yeah.
You start at 100, and this guy's selling his for 98. You
Yeah.
go to 98, he goes to 96.
Yeah.
You're at the bottom. There's nothing going to
Yeah.
happen. They need to be term limits. There needs to be conditions on who gets to give you money to fucking campaign.
Yeah.
And you should be, judged on your character and,
policy.
Well, we were going to have a friend of mine on from Florida who there was a time difference, and I think he had something else.
Yeah,
couldn't
I spoke
make
with him.
He was at the Trump rally. So this is a big thing now. Obviously, they're talking about, should Trump run? Should he not run? Who gets behind him? Everybody loves DeSantis. I mean, as far as, on the other side of the aisle, I don't know, should he, shouldn't he? I don't know. He started a movement, I think, you know what I mean? And I think that, moving forward, that in order to help us help America, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, a liberal, conservative, black, white, brown, pink, polka dotted, old white guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's good for America? What's really good for the people? Okay.
Well, his policies were good for America. I don't care what you say, they were. However, there is a group of people that have this bottomless pit of contempt for the guy, and that they think he's the worst person in all of human, and they'll never vote for policy.
And why is my question, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Why? As you know what I mean? As a defense attorney,
Yeah.
Why? Why for 6 years?
It's got to be more than mean tweets.
Why for 6 years are you trying to get rid of a guy?
Yeah.
Why? You don't like his attitude. You don't like his family. You know what I mean? Nothing that he has been accused of has come to fruition, and there's no charges.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying, again, I was never a Trump fan. I like what Trump did for this country. Energy efficient, right? You know what I mean? Employment at all-time low. Everything. We were honky-dory here. You know what I mean? I don't know,
Yeah.
Gizmo.
We had a great gizmo going.
We had a great gizmo going. You know what I mean? And, I want somebody that can do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not steeped in the politics and bullshit that for 40 fucking years, we got rid of Pelosi.
Well, the thing is, people have to start voting for people, not because they like them or they hate them, but what's in your best interest. Has Joe Biden been in the best interest of people?
Listen, you
no.
do some homework. I know a lot of people. You do your homework on Joe Biden.
Yeah,
he's a racist motherfucker.
Well, and that's the thing, but people, he's Trump's a blowhard, and he's a liar, and he's this and that. He's like he's double A, and Joe is the major leagues when it comes to that stuff. There's not a meaner son of a bitch out there than Joe Biden, and he comes out of this good old boy Joe, but he's not.
He's good old Joe the liar, and I don't know. He's a puppet, bro.
Yeah, I don't remember Trump saying that half the country was destroying the soul of the country.
That's not uniting people. That's not what the country needs, and the country doesn't need to. Have a guy like Donald Trump that some people like and some people don't. I mean, obviously, they don't want it to have an effect on the election. But again, I personally, and I know you do, and we've talked about it many times, the average person, wants to go to work and make money and be safe, not have their son walk 2 fucking blocks from home and almost be stabbed and punched in the face by some fucking low life loser jerk off. Retribution. you know, it just I don't get it. I mean I get it, but I don't. It's sad to me.
So Jeff Dunham, that's the guy. My friend Guy Magliola just chimed in. Guy's been on the show before. You remember Guy? Yeah. He
Oh,
came
yeah,
on,
yeah,
talked
yeah.
about the
Truck-
diesel
trucks.
trucks and like that. Yeah, he
Hey,
knows
Je-
what the hell when it comes to that.
Yeah, and I heard rumors we might run out of diesel fuel soon. It went away. Like it was a news thing, and then it went away.
Yeah, it was another squirrel came by.
Yeah.
And former Ranger Rick Ortega just chimed in. He's a Trump fan, so
Yeah,
most of us are, you know.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, he's a heck of a guy. He's a North Long Beach boy.
Tough neighborhood.
It can be,
Tough
depending on.
neighborhood.
I mean, even North Long Beach, as small as it is, it's got its little areas. You know, you know.
Don't
North
sleep
Town.
on Long Beach. Let me tell you something. There's no joke there. I'm in Long Beach a lot, all over Long Beach.
Yeah, you make it to North Town.
Shout out to Long Beach.
You make it to North Town very often. You know?
Give me cross street.
Yeah, like Atlantic and Artesia, Market Street, Carson, Cherry,
Pine, Cherry.
That's down.
No,
That's
I'm in Cherry.
Yeah, Cherry
By the airport, Cherry though.
Yeah,
like Cherry
yeah.
405.
Yeah.
I've been all the way down Cherry though.
Yeah. You've been on Atlantic and Artesia.
And there's one on I think there's one on 10th Street. There's a market there.
Yeah, that's a little more central.
Shout out to Catalyst Dispensaries. Where they're dotted all over Long Beach. A lot of people don't like Elliot, the owner. He's a tough guy.
Yeah.
He's out there pounding on doors himself, trying to get things done.
Yeah, well, that's what you got to do, man, in that sport.
Yeah, well, they're making money, building stores.
Yeah.
We were talking about being shadow banned. You know, it's funny if you watch YouTube people. You know, YouTube was set up so that what you watched is what was fed to you. Well, you go in and you look at it, and all of a sudden the stuff that I was looking for is not there. I got to go search for it. So Johnny and I were talking about something, and he's like, "Bro, I don't see any of your posts anymore." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, like I have to go to your page and see all this stuff that wasn't shared in the feed." So, I mean, it's again, there's some fuckery on so many levels, you know.
Oh yeah.
This Bitcoin, this Bitcoin or whatever shit that went down. This dude in the Bahamas, what's his name?
Oh yeah, Fried.
Fried,
yeah, something Fried. Yeah.
I hear he was living high on the hog. They were all, you know, having a great time, and a bunch of this money's connected to, you know, even people like Mitch McConnell.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
$40 million to the Democrats,
and some money for Ukraine. Where'd the money go? Again, show me the fucking receipt. That's all I want to see.
Yeah,
I'm happy to help out. You know what I mean? But let's see the receipt. Where did it really go? You know, we talked about this with shout out to Derek. You know, on the show last show. You know, he said it's the biggest fucking money laundering scheme ever. We're sending all this money for what?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. That guy. There's that picture of him sitting next to Clinton, and he's wearing, you know, the funky, dirty T-shirt and shorts and floppy socks and tennis shoes, and he's got that
floppy socks. He's
got that low testosterone, high estrogen thing that these, you know, 20, 30-year-olds that have these days, and they just buy into the guy. And it's happened. Bernie Madoff, it happened constantly. Those things happen, that they're the next things in sliced bread,
and none of that
it gets moldy. That bread gets moldy really quick, and how are these people going to get their money back? And
they're not.
Yeah, and interesting to see if the DNC is going to give back that $40 million. So.
No, and Maxine Waters was asking about it, and she instantly said both parties were giving money. And I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah, well, we love her.
Old lizard-looking lady.
Yeah, she's great for South Central. Her district, just like Nancy's so great for San Francisco.
Didn't we talk about and apparently Paul Pelosi did open the door. Some of that footage is out. NBC.
Is it?
NBC had I haven't seen it yet, but there was a couple YouTube things I saw about where it's, you know, he opened the door and was like, yeah, everything's kind of fine, and walked in and opened the door with his left hand and then went right back toward the guy, and that possibly the police were there for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Before the guy grabbed the hammer and hit him.
Yeah.
So
that thing went away as fast as it could go.
Sure, it did. Just like the Porsche did when he wrecked the car. You know, come on. I mean, again, fuckery and bullshit at all levels.
And here's the thing. And here's the thing. If they would have just said,
it would hurt people.
Yeah, he knew the guy, and you know, it just went south, everybody would have gone, oh, that's something that went south. But now he's got to hide it, and you know, most people know that people make mistakes, and okay, but when you start to hide it, that's when everybody rolls their eyes, and you know.
Yeah, stupid stories that, like, I mean, I get it, but again, I just don't understand how everybody just kind of absorbs it, which will take me to another point that we had a conversation in the car. Shout out to my boy Charlie. Thanks for coming in. We're having a conversation. I'm on my way back from Needles, like 45 minutes on the phone with Charlie. We were talking about politics, people, current events, and he's kind of waving the same flag that we wave. And he says he's talking to his little sister, and she's like, "But how does it affect your everyday life?"
Mhm.
And then he was talking to somebody else, and they were like, same thing. Like, well, how does it really, whatever's going on? I'm like, "Wait, that, I mean, I get it, but it still doesn't make any sense to me.
Mhm.
How does it affect your everyday life? Well, gas costs more,
just 'cause
food costs more, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sort of losing some of my rights as
Mhm.
an American citizen based on the Constitution,
Mhm.
which nobody really wants to even think of. Just an old document, written by a bunch of old, racist white people that
Yeah.
shouldn't mean or be
Goddamn
adhered to.
Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, it's anyway.
Yeah, well, that's people don't realize how it affects their lives, because they go
everyone's
with
affected.
head down, keep swinging, and that's what people do
Or
during their life, But you're affected
Get
for
your
sure.
head out of the sand.
Yeah, I mean, you bring over 5 million people a year that aren't supposed to be here, and your rents go sky high, and you wonder why there's not an availability of rental property or places to live, and that part of it.
Rooms in downtown San Francisco. Downtown, I was looking for a room the other night because my schedule wasn't 100, so I really didn't know where I was going to be. Like $600.
Yeah.
I went across. I stayed in Oakland for $200 on the bay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Oakland.
So, some plugs.
Oh, shameless plugs. Can we get some shameless plugs up?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you that the Dutt brothers, and I don't have a shot on this one, are going to be at the Cliff on the 8th for our last little gig of the year. That's a 6 to 9 gig. The Dutt brothers at the Cliff in Laguna Beach, and then the Ferris Wheel Junkies will be at the Swallows Inn on November 23rd. There it is up on the screen there with Paul Brown, Martin Holland, Greg Richardson, the great Albert Margolis, my dear friend Teddy Tesario, and yours truly. That's a tradition at the Swallows Inn in San Juan Capistrano. Shout out to Gunny and all the good folks there. That's a Marine Corps bar, Semper Fi, and we'll be there for sure. It'll be a great time popping. I'm sure some guests will roll through. Maybe Johnny will come through and front the band or play some drums on a few songs. The Ferris Wheel Junkies will also be at Cook's Corner, another great venue in Orange County. The Ferris Wheel Junkies will be there on December 3rd. Pretty much the same band with the exception. We'll have Brett Davis on guitar, Albert, myself, Paul Brown, Martin Holland, and the famous Greg Richardson. Please show up, support if you can. Great outdoor venue right there. What about you?
Well, I actually have about 3 weeks off right now, which is fine with me because
Enjoy it.
I've been going.
I feel bad for the cat.
I've been fat. The cat weighs 22.5 pounds. That bastard
Likes to chew and swallow. Can't blame him.
Eat, sleep, fill the box. That's his thing. The German train system is jealous of that guy.
Eat, sleep, fill the box.
Yeah.
Waka.
But yeah. So I have some stuff coming up.
Joke.
One of them I want to talk about is on the 8th of December with the Gunboat Kings.
Love it.
We'll be opening for Immediate Family, and that band
Great picture.
is really something else. It's Russ Kunkel and Leland Sklar and 3 or 4 other guys that have been on. Do we have those guys up, Joel? But anyway, they probably played on 10,000 albums. They're the go-to guys for. Back in the day, it was Linda Ronstadt and Jackson Brown, but they've played with everybody.
They were kind of like the band, right? Like it was a lot. They fronted for
kind of, or the Wrecking Crew, that kind of thing, and they played with everyone, and especially Leland. He's played with. I can't. He's played with everybody from Sinatra to hard rock stuff to Emmylou Harris. Remember we did the George Strait song over at Connie Ray's All My Exes Living. He's the bass player on that. It just goes on and on. So
That's why they hang my hat in Tennessee.
yeah. So it's at the Coach House. Again, it's a Thursday night. Anybody wants to go, hit me up for tickets. It's well worth it. Those guys are amazing. And then the rest of December is pretty full, and I don't know, I'll put it on Facebook, but it's with Tightrope and some other bands, and we're all over the place. But yeah, that's the big one for me. That'll be fun. So
Well, enjoy your time off. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
yeah, it's I love music, but I've been doing these. I did yesterday, I guess it was. Yeah, I did double and then played late Friday night. So that's a young man's game. So.
there, shout out to Trisha Freeman and and our dearly departed friend Larry Green. And I think it was around the time when we were playing with Martin Gershwitz, and there's a lot of stuff going on. You're a gig whore.
Yeah,
I don't know if it one of those three people turned me onto that term. It was like, yeah, fucking gig whore, bro. You playing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Guilty.
Because you enjoy it so much.
Yeah, it's like that's we always say. People tell me, "Well, that's your passion." No, it's my affliction.
Yeah,
that's really what it is.
It can be an affliction.
You can't help it.
Yeah, I was talking to forgive me right now, but I was talking to the young man that did the sound for us about a trailer I had. Anybody knows in the old days, I had a trailer, I had a drum kit, I had the trussel for the lights, I had the lights, I had 3 different guitar amps, buckets of cables, it was crazy, you just have so much gear,
and you just did it. Then the Gumbo Kings,
and I would take any gig.
Tom,
money, okay, free, okay,
yeah,
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Gunboat Kings, huh?
Yeah, well, I was just talking about that. Tommy, our keyboard player, he's a Hammond organ guy, and you show him to gigs constantly with a trailer
with
and a Hammond and that Leslie, and he's a little guy, and he did it somehow though because he couldn't help himself.
Well, you gotta love the sound, you know what I mean?
Right? But that was even when Hammond makes a portable now that sounds pretty
Albert,
damn good too.
Albert plays one, and there was another young man that played with us at Cook's a couple weeks ago that brought a very cool new Leslie's cabinet.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like it was like guitar amp covered, almost like a road case, but with a speaker inside.
Yeah,
but a little smaller scale, looked much more manageable.
Yeah.
If you're a harmonica player, you're okay. If you're a drummer or something else and you've got a lot more gear, you probably have the most gear.
And plus singing, I'm always first one and last one. So next to the keyboard players.
And I quoted you. I did a gig with the Dutt Brothers and special guest Andrew Cordini at the Thurston Middle School in Laguna Beach for their class. There was a 10-week class about American music, the history of American music. Went through all the genres, and for end of year or whatever, we did a concert at the amphitheater, and I said to them, we were talking about how's it going to sound and everything. And first of all, they're kids, right?
Yeah, I know they don't.
They're 8. Not what are they? Yeah, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8, 9, middle school, or 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, you got them for about 30 seconds, 2 minutes, maybe.
One of the teachers came up afterwards. She said, "You see that one table up there? That was like the 8th graders. They're usually trouble." She's like, they were clapping and not being, as loud and rambunctious.
By the time they get that, they're a pain in the ass when they're that age.
Yeah, but the kids really enjoyed it. But anyway, good. I said to them, everybody's like, "Oh, that sounds like that." I said, "Listen, it'll be over before you know it." Yep. Famous words from Johnny. It'll be over before you know it. Don't stack it. Don't worry about it. Just get it. We all have enough experience here just to get this done.
Yeah, it'll be over before you know it. Kind of like.
Yeah, is it time? Show. Is it? It's time, huh? We spent an hour. We'll see how we do. Yeah, this is a non-funded show. It's funded by John and I. It's a nonprofit organization. We'd appreciate any love that you might want to show us.
Yeah, it's right there on Venmo.
We want to give you. We apologize for the show last show. There was some issues there with the internet. It was a great show, but we work hard and try to do the best we can here. We've learned a lot. We're going to continue to learn a lot and bring you what our opinions, shit we like to talk about, things that we think are cool. how we wave our freak flags.
Yeah.
And music and weed, and again, it's Thanksgiving, so we got a lot to be thankful for.
Absolutely.
We hope that you and your family have a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving. Shout out to all the peoples out there. We love you. We care about you. We appreciate you tuning in. If you can, like, share, subscribe, whatever that is. Hit the Venmo. Joel, thank you for everything. Yeah. Catch the show this Thursday night. This Wednesday night at the Swallows. And it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. Life is short and hustle hard. Live and love like you mean it, and never trust a living ass. We'll see you in a saloon or a podcast real soon. Peace.